Hey everybody, it's Eric from epautos.com, your libertarian car guy and bike guy. And I'm going to shift gears here a little bit from the BMW R9T Scrambler, which by the way looks mighty fine next to my 03 ZRX. And I realized one of the reasons that I like this BMW so much is because it's kind of got the same squat and attitude as my ZRX, which is the only bike I have ever bought new. I've bought dozens of bikes over the years, but they've always been older and always been used. I got that ZRX new because it just kind of appealed to me, and God, this thing appeals to me too. If my cup didn't runneth over, I would very seriously be tempted to buy one of these things, but then I'd have to get rid of one of my other ones, and that's the dilemma. All right, enough of that. Anyway, let's shift gears, and for something really different today, let's have a look at the 2017 C650 GT scooter. I know I'm not supposed to use that word. Technically it's a pass-through or some other thing. Scooter is perceived as being somewhat derogatory, but functionally it's about the same thing. And speaking of same things, as I was riding this thing around and as I was reviewing the specs, I got to thinking about how close many of the specs are to those of my rat bike here, my 83 Honda GL650 Silverwing. Now, for those of you not hip, this is a type of bike that they used to make a lot of back in the late 70s, early mid 80s, but they don't make many of them anymore. They make small bikes and then they make big bikes, particularly in the kind of touring / commuter class. There's just not a whole lot that's available. So back in the day, this was a bike for people who didn't want a gigantic Goldwing or a big Harley dresser, but they wanted to have a bike that had a full fairing and that had storage and that was light and tractable and just easy to ride, particularly in an urban type of environment. Well, as Ronald Reagan used to say, enter this thing, the C650. Very similar. Note 650. Same engine size. Now it's a twin. It's a BMW. And well, so's that actually. That's a rip-off of a Moto Guzzi twin. But yeah, both twin cylinders. Look at that. And both 650s. They both make about the same power. This is about 60 horsepower. Same thing for that one. And while this one doesn't have a manual transmission, of course, because it's a scooter, moped / mobility, whatever you want to call it, the performance of these two things is almost identical in terms of 0 to 60 top speed. They both top out right around 110 miles an hour, which is plenty, and they both get phenomenally good gas mileage. I typically get about 55 to 60 out of this old Honda with a carburetor, and knocking around on this thing for the past few days, the mileage has been about the same. The other thing about this that's very much like this is the storage. It's one of the big appeals of this thing. The way it works on this is you push the key down and rotate to the right, and then this section cantilevers open like that, and wow, look at that. I took it to the supermarket the other day and I was able to cart home a lot of stuff in this thing. I made the tasteless joke to one of my friends that you could fit probably 3 or 4 packs of Depends in here too. But that's mean. This is not for old people. This is a practical little bike, scooter, moped, whatever you want to call it, very much like that. It's light. They both weigh about the same, around 500 pounds, and that makes them very easy to walk around. In fact, this one's easier to walk around on for the obvious reason that it's a pass-through, and that means that you can just, step on it like that. And even if you're not a big, tall geek like I am, because the seat height is low, your feet are down there, and it's easy to pick it up and maneuver it around. This thing has seat heaters for both the rider and the passenger. Grips. You got 2 nice storage pockets right here, where you can put your Metamucil up. Another bad old person joke. I shouldn't say that, 'cause it's really not an old person's bike, not at all. It's just a different type of bike, that's all. And truth be told, were it not for the styling, now this is subjective and this is just my own personal rant here, were it not for the styling, which I'm just not personally that much a fan of, it'd be very tempting versus something like this, given that you can't get something like this anymore. These are also very affordable, even for a BMW. You get the fine fit finish, build quality, everything else that comes with a BMW product for about 10,000 bucks or so retail. There's some options that you can add to it that make it a little more expensive. This one I think stickers for about $11.70, which again, it's not a whole lot for a top drawer BMW. Anyway, I will have more up on EP Autos shortly, and I just finished something that's up on the site about the cult of the hero, about whether it's heroic to enforce laws that you guys might be interested in. So I hope you'll visit the site, take a look, leave your comments, and we'll catch up with you again soon.